You're watching India Glitz. The new film Amy reminds us that no matter how talented a woman is or how brilliant her work, her behavior dictates how she is perceived. The film covers the life of Amy Winehouse and her career from childhood until her death and relies on home and travel videos, concert footage and interviews of the people who were associated with her to supplement and substantiate the narrative. Most of the people associated with her are still alive, which must have made the task of filmmaker easier. It's a competently assembled and narrated tale. In the film, she's seen focused and passionate inside the studio writing lyrics on a notepad and fleshing out the final version of Back to Black. That song would chart at number 25 and become Winehouse's third best-selling single, and she wrote it herself. In fact, Winehouse wrote all of Back to Black. Only 4 of the songs on Back to Black have co-writers. Even Amy, a film solely about her life and work, contrasts almost every moment of praise for Winehouse's ability with a point about how sad it is that she could not control herself. Winehouse's usage was an embarrassment, constantly touted as out of control, terrible and bad for her career. While all of these things were true, they were not critiques that were or are normally waged against male artists of the same or lesser caliber than Amy Winehouse. It finally turns out to be a familiar psychoanalysis of the rise and fall of a celebrated artist who becomes a victim of her circumstances, indulges in irresponsible and wild behavior, and wastes herself. The conclusion drawn is also familiar. Her family and friends and lovers manipulated and wronged her, pushed her to extreme limits and drove her to tragic end. In other words, she simply paid the price of being rich and famous. The music company that commissioned the film comes out unscathed and clean in this process. Though the documentary tries to recognize Winehouse's writing ability by highlighting the lyrics to her songs on the screen and showing her handwritten notes, it's always in passing that her work is mentioned. The focus, as it has been for female geniuses for generations, is on her behavior and her love life. Winehouse did not just succeed monumentally, she created. She wasn't a little girl with a drug problem. She was one of the greatest songwriters and vocalists of our generation. The response to the film at Cannes this year was very positive. It played in the midnight screening section. Those who follow her music and are her ardent fans were quite ecstatic about it and even cried during the screening. Her fans in India will now certainly enjoy the film and probably can tell better if it actually provides some unique, unexplored perspective of the singer's life. You're watching India Glitz.